has been expanding their long-range drone arsenal in order to strike deeper into Russia. Dominic Velitis has been on this story for us from the beginning. Dom, what do we know so far?
Well, Natasha, we can't verify this report because the source for it is speaking on condition of anonymity. But according to that source, Ukrainian drones operated by the SSU, which is the Security Service of Ukraine, hit this munitions depot in the Russian region of Voronezh overnight. And this is a region which, if you didn't know, borders a chunk of northeastern Ukraine. This was, we're told, a pretty large site that was hit, about 9,000 square meters, in fact. And again, according to our source, it was used to store various kinds of missiles, tank and artillery shells, and small arms ammunition. So weapons that no doubt would have eventually been delivered to Russian forces on the ground in Ukraine. And our source tells us that it's highly probable that this is just the beginning, that other Russian defense facilities on Russian soil will now be targeted, and in the very near future. That's according to this unnamed source. And as you know, Natasha, drones are a real feature of this conflict. Both sides have used them to great effect, and it's why Russia and Ukraine are not only ramping up production of the actual drones themselves, but also the associated technology, things like anti-drone jammers and so on. And on paper, Russia and Ukraine are turning about 100,000 of these drones, these really important first-person view drones, every single month. Now, these are the cheap, tiny drones. They cost us a few $100s each and weigh just a few pounds, but can carry their own weight in explosives for several miles and can do real damage on the battlefield. But Ukraine can also rely on the so-called Drone Coalition. That's an international effort involving 14 countries, including Canada, to fund and supply drones to Ukraine. In fact, there's a very large factory in Latvia which is churning these things out. Indeed, last week, the Latvian Ministry of Defense announced it's lined up more than 2,500 combat drones for delivery, with the first shipments expected in the next few days. Natasha?
Okay, thanks so much, Dom. But Dom, before we let you go, I just want to let the viewers in on a bit of news. This is your last regular hit with us on CBC News Network. 13 years, Dom, you have been telling us stories from around the world from our London bureau, but now you're moving on. Where are you going?
That's right, 30. I can't believe it's been 13 years. I'm relocating, funny enough, to Riga, which is in Latvia. It sits in the Baltics, on the edge of, as we've been hearing, what is a particularly turbulent part of the world. But this isn't a goodbye. It's more of a temporary farewell. I'm very much hoping to carry on contributing here on CBC. It's been a real privilege for me to work for this organisation. It is one of the best news organisations in the world, and it's been a privilege to tell Canadian stories from all over the world in my time here in London. A real privilege too to work alongside your good self, Natasha, and all the other excellent hosts here on the News Network, but also work alongside the people who viewers don't see. That's the execs, the writers, the editorial team, and the wonderful technical team here who actually make all of this happen. So it's not goodbye. I'll be back just reporting from a very different location and hopefully getting outside a bit more as well, Natasha.
Dom, it's not goodbye, but you're making me tear up. It's not right. We love working with you. Every weekend we look forward to what's Dom going to bring in that very classy, posh style of his. But, we want to take a look back at some of the highlights from these past 13 years, so stick around for that.
Into London. Dominic Velitis is following the story. He has more on who's organizing the mass march.
Tens of thousands are taking part, and it's likely, once we get the final count through of how many actually did get involved, to be the biggest demo seen in Britain this year. Steady stream of visitors to Kensington Palace here in central London today to meet the latest addition to the royal family. Unfortunately, there's been no news on a name for this new royal baby.
Let's bring in Dominic Velitis, who joins us from Windsor today. So that for those who are still sleeping as most of the ceremony took place, walk us through what we saw happen today around you.
There were so many key moments during that ceremony to talk about. There was Meghan Markle's dress, of course, her walk down the aisle with Prince Charles, the couple's loving looks, loving glances during the ceremony, and then, of course, their first kiss as a married couple. Virginia Giuffre's civil case emerged in August. British police examined whether there was a criminal case. Now they've announced no further action would be taken regarding the allegations surrounding Prince Andrew.
Experts think that tonight's big England-France game will give the industry a $43 million boost. That's a lot of boost. Many here, of course, commiserate. Dominic Valitis, CBC News, London. Dominic Valitis, CBC News, London. Dominic Valitis, CBC News, London.
Pretty soon it's gonna be Dominic Politis, CBC News. Recap. It's gonna be it's different with like crazy background. But Dom, it's been such a pleasure working with you. It's a big world. You make it smaller. You make us understand it better. We trust your journalism. Everyone who works here on the weekend team, everyone who watches the weekend programming knows if Dom's saying it, we can trust it. We wish you nothing but the best of luck in Latvia, and please don't be a stranger.
I won't be. Thank you very much. As I say, it's been a real privilege. Thank you.
Good luck